You know I have a sketchbook addiction, right?
Yeah, I'm aware.
Monday Motivational Madness. A crazy good way to start your week.
Hola, you amazing artist, and welcome to this week's Monday Motivational Madness, where we are going to talk about hindsight. Hindsight 2020, which I'm not really sure. I feel like we should change that
In light of
2020. I want to talk to you guys about something that is really, really important, something that has helped us whenever we're feeling not motivated to keep moving in this crazy thing that's called in our career, and that is looking back and keeping track of your journey, right? So keeping a sketchbook or a journal or something where you document where you've been. Every once in a while, when I'm not feeling great, I use social media for that. That's what I use to document like my journey and stuff. Like I don't use it for marketing. Somehow it works because then I'm documenting my journey and then people are there with me and
Some
they're like,
people are-
I've been with you this whole time.
we
Yeah.
like your journey very much.
Yeah, every once in a while when I'm feeling whatever it is that I'm feeling where I'm like, man, this is just not where I don't, and it happens. It happens. We've been doing this for over a decade and you still have those days. We all have those days. It doesn't matter who the person is. You're going to have those days where you just want to quit.
The I suck, this sucks, everything sucks
Yeah,
days.
I suck, this sucks. But I'll go back and look at my life and I look at the progression and I look at, wow, look at how far I've come. Because it's really, really easy to forget where you've come and how much you've grown. That's so important to keep you motivated because a lot of times we don't see it. We don't see the growth. Living each day and it's just like, well, same shit yesterday. And we don't realize that like, no, it's not the same shit. We're growing in our career, in our art, in our capabilities. As humans, pushing through comfort zones. When we went out and did our first festival, how terrified we were and how pushing through that comfort zone, right? And what a big success and win that was to have that experience and feel that and know like, all right, we did this. And then 2 years, 3 years later, we're doing shows every weekend and it's like no big deal.
Yeah. And we're like, we've just always been like
Yeah,
this.
and then you get to that point where you're like, oh, nothing's happening, blah, blah. But then you look back and you're like, wait a second. Wow, look at where I'm at now, where I'm so comfortable with this, and I'm ready to move on to the next thing. For a lot of people, it's just sharing your art for the first time.
Yeah.
They share their art for a year or so, and they're like, oh, well, this is the same shit. It's like, no, look at that. Look at where you are now because of pushing outside of a comfort zone, because of where you were. I love pushing out of my comfort zone and facing fears because I know somewhere in my brain that hindsight later on, I'm going to look at it and be like, oh yeah, I'm a badass. I remember when I did that. It adds to the flavor of this journey.
It also helps you to know you're capable in the face of whatever the new thing is that's scaring you right now. Like, you can look back and be like, well, I did this and this and this, so surely I'm going to get to the other side of this thing where I'm comfortable.
That's right. And don't call me Shirley.
Oh. For me, a really notable one is like being able to weld really tiny little components on jewelry where my hands would shake so bad in the beginning that I couldn't even do it. I would be like, I have to walk away. Now I'm getting far more comfortable with doing that really, really tiny work.
And that's the thing, like that's going to lead to an optimism and a possibility of future projects that maybe you don't know how to do now, right? Because you look at what you've overcome, the things that you didn't know how to do, and how you do know how to do them now. So when you're looking at something that might seem daunting, it's just part of that process. You see it all as a big journey versus just seeing it as this daunting thing. Oh, I don't know if I want to do that. I've overcome challenge after challenge after challenge and have gotten to where I am now. I could do anything.
Yeah, it helps you trust in your own capability, for sure. And keeping a record in some way, shape, or form, whether it's through social media or a journal or a sketchbook or some combination therein, really is good.
Yeah.
Even watching these videos back on YouTube and being like, well, I remember a time where I was petrified if the camera came anywhere near me. Anything like that is like, wow.
Look at where I am now. I'm
Yeah.
such a badass. Our Monday Motivational Madness is to keep a journal, post because you want to be able to look back, hindsight, do whatever it is that you want to do within your realm of doing things to keep some kind of record where you can look back and remember where you were so you could really have the context of where you are now. Every single one of you has grown immensely. We've noticed for all our awesome people that have been following us that we have been following them back.
We see you growing.
We see you growing, and a lot of times us ourselves, we forget. We forget that. So keep a record because you're a badass. And that way you can remind yourself of how badass you are.
And if you're like Rafi, then you'll find it especially gratifying to have sketchbooks dedicated to this purpose.
Lots and lots of sketchbooks.
I mean, sketchbooks are amazing.
They really are. More sketchbooks.
Rafi just went somewhere in his mind.
I did.
His happy place where all the sketchbooks exist.
All right. Other than that, you guys have a fantastic, amazing week. We adore you. And yeah, you want to say goodbye, Klee?
Mwah!
Adios.